Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. Hare Krishna. We'll continue with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 9, the passing away of Bhishma Dev in the presence of Lord Shri Krishna. Text number 17 onwards. Tasmadidam devtantram vyavasya bharatarishab tasyanu vihito nath pahi praja prabhu. O best among the descendants of Bharat, Yudhishthira, I maintain therefore that all this is within the plan of the Lord. Accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord, you must follow it. You are now appointed administrative head, and my Lord, you should now take care of those subjects who are now rendered helpless. So this is Bhishma Dev speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj and saying that all the sufferings, all the tribulations you all went through, it is basically, if earlier he said it was the time, it is because of time. Now he's saying it's all within the plan of the Lord. So without Krishna's planning, nothing can happen in the life of a devotee. The popular saying is that a housewife teaches the daughter-in-law by teaching the daughter. Similarly, the Lord teaches the world by teaching the devotee. Beautiful line. The Lord teaches the world by teaching the devotee. The devotee does not have to learn anything new from the Lord, because the Lord teaches a sincere devotee always from within. Whenever, therefore, a show is made to teach the devotee, as in the case of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, it's for teaching the less intelligent men. A devotee's duty, therefore, is to ungrudgingly accept tribulations from the Lord as a benediction. So, yes, it is difficult. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy that any tribulations come in our way in our lives and we accept this as mercy of the Lord. But association of devotees, constant practice, constant sadhana, chanting, service, reading, it all helps in coming to understand this is the benediction of the Lord. The Pandavas were advised by Bhishma Dev to accept the responsibility of administration without hesitation. The poor subjects were without protection due to the battle of Kurukshetra, and they were awaiting the assumption of power by Maharaj Yudhishthir. A pure devotee of the Lord accepts tribulations as favors from the Lord. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no mundane difference between the two. Between the two means mercy of the Lord and uh, and the tribulations, apparent tribulations from the Lord. They are the same. But as I said, it's very difficult to understand and then to accept it the way Prabhupada is writing. So for that, just like Krishna tells Arjun in Bhagavad Gita, that a devotee accepts the dualities and he does not get disturbed. Dhirastatrana muyati. He does not get disturbed. So he accepts heat and cold, victory and defeat, pain and pleasure, all the same. And he does not get disturbed. But that position, that situation, it's very difficult to achieve. We do get disturbed. Why? Because our bhakti is not at that level. Our sadhana is not at that level yet, where we don't get disturbed. And we do get elated when something good happens in our life. The benchmark is very high, actually, where a person does not get elated when he gets something favorable, and he does not feel sad when something unfavorable happens in the life. That's the life of a devotee. And that's the beginning stages, actually. Higher stages are when when he develops love for Krishna. It is the beginning stages. He does not even get affected. Love for Krishna takes him to another level. So obviously we have to come to that level. We have to. So slowly, slowly, more we stress on our sadhana, basically reading, chanting, hearing, and association. And in that association, we keep on serving the Lord. Slowly, slowly, that stage will come. It will come because this is a byproduct of bhakti. But at the same time, we have to try to cultivate those qualities also. So maybe little bit suffering, and we will understand. Yes, it's mercy of Krishna. Maybe not for big suffering right now, but little bit suffering, we'll understand. And when we cultivate this, then when the big problem comes, then we'll get through it easily. So we have to try to cultivate it also. It is not that it's just going to come automatically. We have to cultivate it. We have to work on it. एष वै भगवान् साक्षादाद्यो नारायणः पुमान् मोहयन् मायया लोकं गूढश्चरति वृष्णिषु. This Sri Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He is the first Narayan, the supreme enjoyer. But he is moving amongst the descendants of King Vrishni, just like one of us, and he is bewildering us with his self-created energy. So Bhishmadev knew who Krishna is, and he's saying this Krishna, this Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. He is the first Narayan. But he moves among us just like one of us. And this is very bewildering. This is actually very bewildering. And he puts this yog maya on us, self-created energy, means internal energy, internal potency of Krishna. Purport. The Vedic system of acquiring knowledge is the deductive process. The Vedic knowledge is received perfectly by disciplic succession from authorities. Such knowledge is never dogmatic, as ill-conceived by less intelligent persons. The mother is authority to verify the identity of the father. She is authority for such confidential knowledge. Therefore, authority is not dogmatic. Dogmatic means it's not subjective, it's completely neutral. In the Bhagavad Gita, this truth is confirmed in the 4th chapter, and the perfect system of learning is to receive it from authority. The very same system is accepted universally as truth, but only the false arguer speaks against it. For example, modern spacecraft fly in the sky, and when scientists say that they travel to the other side of moon, men believe these stories blindly because they have accepted the modern scientists as authorities. So we have to see who we believe as authority also. The authorities speak and the people in general believe them. But in the case of Vedic truths, they have been taught not to believe. Means people are in general are taught not to believe what is written in the Vedas. Even if they accept them, they give a different interpretation. Each and every man wants a direct perception of Vedic knowledge. Otherwise, they foolishly refuse to accept it. This means that the misguided man can believe one authority, the scientist, but will reject the authority of the Vedas. The result is that people have degenerated. So they will believe the scientist because, first of all, the scientists, they speak in very lofty language, scientific terms, which we don't understand at all, and they speak in English. White scientists are more popular than any other scientist, so people just generally believe them. But the Vedic truth, because they are spoken by, now ISKCON's mercy, there are so many American body or European body devotees who speak, and then people will listen. But since we wear this dhoti kurta and look traditional, people don't believe. Nah, these guys are just faking it. But this is not the truth. Vedic knowledge is a perfect knowledge, ultimate knowledge. There is nothing lacking in it. But people also try to interpret the Vedic knowledge in their own way. Just like, as I said earlier, there is a organization from South Korea, and they conduct this interfaith meeting every month, once a month, online, and I am part of it for the last year and a half or so. So today we were discussing about, the topic was so-called religion. And they had sent a questionnaire earlier. We had to fill it out, send it back, and based on that questionnaire, there was a discussion today. So there's a lady who represents Jainism. So she is saying, because she talked about violence in Jain religion, somehow violence is taken at a big, very big level. And she was saying anybody who participates in violence is not following the religion. So now there's another panelist, and he's a Muslim, although he has good knowledge of Vedas. He's a very wonderful person. So he caught her. He said, "What do you mean by violence?" So when Krishna ordered Arjun to kill people during the battle of Mahabharat, and before that he gave the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, so you think he committed violence? And that lady clearly said, yes, Krishna committed violence. And she said, in our scriptures it is mentioned that afterwards Krishna had to go to hell for committing that sin. And I was just speechless. What in the world is she talking about? Which scripture says Krishna went to hell? Here Krishna clearly says, in Bhagavad Gita when we study, he says, I appear in my internal potency. I don't even come under external potency. But people just try to have their own interpretation of what Krishna does, what Krishna says. For Krishna, what is violence? He created everything. What is violence for him? And if through his energies, people are getting reactions for their own karmas, is there a violence for him? No. If the judge orders somebody to be hanged, he's not committing violence. He's just giving him the result of his own actions. That's all. For people, it's very hard for people to understand what is violence and what is non-violence. So therefore, Vedic knowledge, we have to take it from a proper person also, proper guru. It should be a bona fide guru. Otherwise, it will be all interpretation, and then we will be just speculating and making up on our own stories. And this is what Prabhupada is writing. Here is an authority speaking about Sri Krishna as the original personality of Godhead and the first Narayan. Means Bhishma Dev is speaking about Krishna. Even such an impersonalist as Acharya Shankar has said in the beginning of his commentation on the Bhagavad Gita that Narayan, the personality of Godhead, is beyond the material creation. Even Shankaracharya said, Narayan Paro Avyaktat. He is beyond this material creation. The universe is one of the material creations, but Narayan is transcendental to such material paraphernalia. So that is the position of Krishna. But that Bhishma Dev knew that who is this Krishna who is roaming among us, just looking or acting just like one of us, but he is the supreme personality of Godhead himself. Bhishma Dev is one of the 12 Mahajans who know the principles of transcendental knowledge. His confirmation of Lord Shri Krishna being the original personality of Godhead is also corroborated by Shankaracharya. All other acharyas have also confirmed this statement. And thus there is no chance of not accepting Lord Shri Krishna as the original personality of Godhead. In fact, this is confirmed by Brahmaji also. So many places it has been confirmed. The bewilderment regarding Shri Krishna is due to the action of his twofold internal and external energies upon the third one called the marginal energy. Means internal energy is Yogmaya, external energy is Mahamaya, and they both are acting on this Jiva, that's us. The living entities are expansions of his marginal energy, and thus they are sometimes bewildered by the internal energy and sometimes by the external energy. By internal energy and energetic bewilderment, Sri Krishna expands himself into unlimited numbers of Narayans and exchanges or accepts transcendental loving service from the living entities in the transcendental world. And by his external energetic expansions, he incarnates himself in the material world amongst the men, animals, or demigods to re establish his forgotten relationship. Great authorities like Bhishma, however, escape his bewilderment by the mercy of the Lord. So, even to escape the bewilderment, we need the mercy of the Lord. Otherwise, we will be bewildered either by Yogamaya or Mahamaya. And when we are bewildered, we can't see anything properly. Text 19. Asyanubhavam Bhagavan Vedaguyatamam Shiva Devarshir Narada Sakshat Bhagwan Kapilo Nripa. O King, Lord Shiva, Narad, the sage amongst the demigods, and Kapil, the incarnation of Godhead, all know very confidentially about his glories through direct contact. Because all these devotees that Bhishmadev is mentioning, they are beyond this bewilderment by Maya. Pure devotees of the Lord are all Buddhas, so persons who know the glories of the Lord in different transcendental loving service. As the Lord has innumerable expansions of his plenary form, there are innumerable pure devotees of the Lord who are engaged in the exchange of service of different humors or different rasas, different mellows. Ordinarily, there are 12 great devotees of the Lord, namely Brahma, Narad, Shiva, Kumar, Kapil, Manu, Prahlad, Bhishma, Janak, Shukdev, Goswami, Bali Maharaj, and Yamraj. Bhishmadev, although one of them has mentioned only three important names of the 12 who know the glories of the Lord. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, one of the great acharyas in the modern age, explains that Anubhav, or the glory of the Lord, is first appreciated by the devotee in the ecstasy manifesting the symptoms of perspiring, trembling, weeping, bodily eruptions, etc., which are further enhanced by steady understanding of the glories of the Lord. Of course, this is a different topic that Prabhupada went into about the ecstatic symptoms of the body when a pure devotee is describing the glories of the Lord. Such different understandings of bhavas are exchanged between Yashoda and the Lord, binding the Lord by ropes, and in the chariot driving by the Lord in exchange of love with Arjun. These glories of the Lord are exhibited in his being subordinated before his devotees, and that is another feature of the glories of the Lord. So Krishna, sometimes he takes a subordinate position to his devotees. And this is another feature of glories. This is what he loves. This is what he enjoys. And he can do anything for his devotees. The Lord says, I put my devotee into difficulty, and thus the devotee becomes more purified in exchanging transcendental power with me. Placing the devotee into material troubles means delivering him from the illusory material relations. The material relations are based on reciprocation of material enjoyment, which depends mainly on material resources. Therefore, when material resources are withdrawn by the Lord, the devotee is 100% attracted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, this is the shloka that comes in 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Krishna says, Yasyaham anugrinami harishya tadhanam shane. On the devotees, I want to show special mercy. I take away everything they have. It's not that Krishna needs our money or our property or our assets. He doesn't need any of this. He has everything. He is full of everything. It's just he needs our surrender. He needs our love. He needs our relationship. And if any opulence is an obstacle in that, he wants to remove that obstacle. Actually, he doesn't take away the property. He removes the obstacle, actually. That is making us not go full speed towards him. So he wants to remove that obstacle. So a devotee should be thankful to him actually for that. But since we are so much dependent on all these material assets, then Krishna can give more of these. But if these are obstacle, he'll remove them either away again. So it's better while having the material resources is not a problem. Maharaj Yudhishthira was made the king of the whole world. If material resources was an obstacle, then Yudhishthira Maharaj should have been sent to the forest. But no. So material opulence is not an obstacle. It's our attachment, our our desire to control or to lord over those resources. That is the obstacle. So either we give up that obstacle ourselves, we give up our idea of I'm the controller, I'm the enjoyer, I'm the lord of these material opulences, or Krishna will remove those obstacles and then it will hurt a lot. So it's better we give up this idea of being the enjoyer. And that is only possible if we are engaged in service of Krishna, understanding Krishna is the original enjoyer. I'm just a servant. And I'm just a caretaker of everything that Krishna has given me for his service. So that mentality, that consciousness has to be developed. Not just because if somebody is poor, he's going to go and surrender to Krishna. This doesn't mean that. There's so many poor people all over the world. They don't surrender to Krishna. So Krishna doesn't. He won't enjoy just making us poor. What he will enjoy more is how much we are ready to serve him. What kind of love we have for him. How much we are surrendered. That's what he wants to see. So in that respect, if something is an obstacle, either material opulence or our relationships or whatever, our knowledge, our high position, our beauty, whatever is an obstacle, he'll remove that. It will be painful in the heart in the beginning. That's what Prabhupada is saying. But it will ultimately give us unlimited happiness. So, although Srila Prabhupada did say, I mean, in his preaching, he said, chant and be happy. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Well, we have to read the fine print. We have to read between the lines also. And the fine print is chant Hare Krishna, yes, but be happy even if you lose everything. Be very, very happy. So, Prabhupada is writing, therefore, when material resources are withdrawn by the Lord, the devotee is 100% attracted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Thus, the Lord snatches the fallen soul from the mire of material existence. Tribulations offered by the Lord to his devotees are different from the tribulations resulting from vicious action. All these glories of the Lord are especially known to the great Mahajans like Brahma, Shiva, Narad, Kapil, Kumar, and Bhishma, as mentioned above, and one is able to grasp it by their grace. And in this regard, Prabhupada has earlier, someplace, he has given the example. Sometimes to correct a child, a father slaps him. But the slap by a father is to correct a child is different from if a stranger comes and slaps him. So there's a whole lot of difference. Even if the father slaps him more hard than the stranger, there's a huge difference. So that is the example given. If a devotee undergoes some tribulation, means it's a slap by Krishna. He's our ever-loving friend. And if a non-devotee undergoes tribulation, it's a slap by we can say Yamraj or Mahamaya. But that slap is different from a slap by the father. Both the cases, slaps are there. But father's slap is different. He slaps out of love and affection. So that's the difference. A devotee goes through tribulations also. He has to, but the tribulations of a devotee are different. So I'll stop here. See anybody has any question or comment. Wow, no questions. Should I take up another verse then, or what?
You have explained it so very well, Prabhu. Every time you explain it, everything, all the questions get answered.
Either everybody understands everything or they don't understand anything. That's why no questions. Or they're too scared to ask any questions.
I think we need
Prabhuji,
Yes, Manta.
we get lost when you say something. So it's like, especially I get lost in that. It thinks like it's going on and on and on. And when you say I should stop now, I feel like, oh, time's up. And I regret why I joined late.
Uh-oh. Well, I try to do my best. But it's time, and the devotees waiting in the lobby of their offices or in the car parking lot. They have to get to work. So I guess we can stop here then. You all have a wonderful day, and prepare for Saturday because it's coming. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Jai Shila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.